we were live earlier today with the final DreamHack Latin American qualifier. It was insane. It was a 7-hour broadcast. It was a roller coaster ride of emotions. We cried, we laughed, we hugged, there was a lot that happened there. S in the chat for El Huevo. Oh god.
Women's sick.
But yeah, with that, DreamHack it has ended. All the qualifiers are done. Now it's just the main event. Speaking of, the first main event is this weekend, the ANZ main event. We won't be covering it. It will be casted by Pig and Maynard, but you know, be sure to tune in if you're interested. I will. I mean, I gotta tune in for Demi, just like DRG. I'm sure he's gonna be tuning in as well.
Yeah. Get some inspiration there. And so you have inspiration. We are now on Ice and Chrome. What inspired this map, you may ask? My theory is Dare Ice Coffee had a marketing campaign and asked, I believe it was Super Newman? Might have been no, it was.
I don't think it was -0.
I don't believe it was like a 0. It's not weird enough to be a -0 map. I don't remember who made Ice and Chrome, but my theory is that Dare Ice Coffee was on your minds when they made it. LE, where in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner map, we have the red Protoss player coming all the way from the land of South Korea. He is going to be representing Alpha X. Give it up for Zoun.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ice and Chrome LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the yellow Zerg, representing a Freak of Freaks. It is DongRaeGu. DRG. Quick, just quickly, also shout out to the animation dude, aka Minty Crystal, for the host.
Hey!
Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed your cast as you were also covering this event.
That indeed you were. And now we're covering it.
yeah, and
I had to go for debate in there. Now, it might just be me, Light, and it might just be because both of them qualified for last season of Codas, but when I think of Zoun, I think of an Estrella boy.
What does that mean?
One of Max's angels.
Do you mean like one of his underlings, like the rookie?
Yeah?
Yeah?
He's shadowing him on the case. He's trying to take in whatever he can. He wants to go by the book. Max Angel is showing him you can't always go by the book.
Exactly, like Zoun, he goes on like the patrol car rides, you know, he's there, he's like taking notes, he's still got like that glisten in his eye, like he's like, oh, like I'm here, like I'm doing what I can, but Max, he's jaded, you know, he's been on the job for 5 long years, gone through 3 partners as well, he has no one else he can trust, and Zoun, he's trying to gain that trust, you know, he wants Max Angel to rely on him, to be a part of that, just like Beyond an Innovation.
Just like Bjorn and Bjorn Puppy. But I guess when I'm talking more about the actual, the actual gameplay perspective, my impression of Zoun is he's not super cheesy, right? He's not gonna be like your SOS or your Zest or your players like that. But he is gonna play. But instead, he's gonna be someone who plays standard, but with his own twist to it, his own sort of variation on it. His own stylistic element. Yeah,
if you will. And we'll see how that comes into play here, as we only have 2 gateways, as well as that those glaives on the way. So we will be seeing glaive adepts coming out here for Zoun. Meanwhile, DRG, he has a decent amount of lanes, you know, applying pressure, but he has not got into the main base quite yet for that scout.
Nodding along here.
And I'm a little bit worried because he may be denied it, like, especially because he doesn't have Pneumatized Carapace, he doesn't have Overlord Speed. So with a Stalker, like, it could potentially be denied.
Yeah, DRG is playing it very confident right now. He is getting the Roachborn in, in anticipation for a Glaive to Depth build, but he's got to be pretty careful, to be honestly, just because of the fact that he was forced to take his natural in that third base. There's a lot more ground to cover in terms of the defense for DRG.
Yeah, and honestly, he's being quite greedy. Like he's preparing for Glaive Adepts. Like we have a massive wave of Lings on the way, which is exactly what you want. But without any scouting information, he is not going for any spores whatsoever. Which, I mean, if DTs were behind this, like they could do so much damage. But yeah, DRG kind of rolling the dice a little bit there, and it's paying off.
Yeah, he calls Zoun's bluff. He knows. He's saying, I don't know what he's saying. Some poker language.
Exactly, and immediately the Overlord does make it into the main base. He does spot everything, even spots the Robo base, so that means he's aware of the Disruptor transition that's going to be happening behind this.
Alright, time for a Spire switch.
I'm honestly, a Spire wouldn't be too bad, to be honest. Like it doesn't just like shut down the Disruptors, but also the War Prism as well, so it could be the go-to move.
And I mean, typically Mutalist is what you want to see, but, if Zoun decides to go for Colossus, which he is in this case, you can even go for Corruptors, and it'd still be useful.
Oh yeah,
later on.
Definitely, and he doesn't commit to the Shade. Instead, he commits to fighting these workers and forces the recall as well. And
only 4 drones and a Queen Light. That was a decent amount of adepts that were thrown there. That was pretty impressively done by DRG.
Yeah, that was 5 adepts, and again, the War Prism for Zoun wasn't really reinforcing that point. It was surprising that Zoun committed to that, and at the same time, all these adepts they get caught out in the middle of the map.
Yeah, this is just about all the reinforcements for Zoun. And if this gets taken out just like that, what does he have to defend against this counterattack?
Oh, he's got a couple of gateway units. He's got a shield battery as well. He should be seeing, there we go, that we have 2 disruptors out. So with the disruptors, he should be fine defensively. But yeah, again, DRG, he completely shut all of that down. And now he's just, droning up. He's taking more gases, should be taking a 4th base. And he's even on top of this War Prism.
Just like that. He knows where he needs to be and just how to defend, and I think DRG... Nope, that was the lair. I thought I saw a Hydrogen for a sec, but nope, that was the lair.
Yeah, the lair
just going into Aspire.
Exactly. As soon as the lair finishes, immediately he starts Aspire. He starts Roach Speed as well, so he knows that transition that he's going to be going for. Meanwhile, Zoun, he is attempting to set up his 3rd base. He's situated here defensively as well, which isn't exactly what you want. Like, I'm sure ideally Zoun, he would have liked to have gone across the map with the Disruptors, with his War Prism, and he's going for it now, but it's a little bit too late. Like, the Spire is already halfway done. Like, it's very likely that eventually the Mute is going to come out and just completely shut this down as well. So Zoun just a little bit on the back foot, but we'll see if he can get back into this.
Yeah, definitely. Disruptors, they are the equalizer, as we say. Going for a disruptor drop like this can really do some damage to your opponent's economy, and more importantly, it looks really cool.
It does. Looks pretty sick. Them balls are going to be coming out for Zoun, and oh, here's the first one.
Yeah, there we go. 4 drones got taken out. Not quite that massive damage, but it is definitely a start. It's also a decent number of, I think a decent number of Lings got shaved off as well, which, not bad. Whatever damage you can get at this point as Zoun. Yeah,
honestly, that was a pretty solid shot. The worry is that there's only going to be 1, as immediately after that happens, he turns around, he goes back home with it. Yeah, well, so no more harassment potential for those disruptors, but he does keep them alive, and I think it was like the correct move, especially because the Spire is done. Like, you don't really know how much longevity you have with that War Prism. You don't want to be caught in a situation where you lose it for free, so yeah, just playing it safe.
The War Prism and 2 expensive disruptors.
Yeah, exactly. And now we see him meeting up with the main army, and I don't know if you noticed, well, +1 is done, as well as Blink, so Stalkers are going to be here as well to support this, just in case some mutas do pop out, but no mutas, actually Corruptors instead.
Yeah, which, in my opinion, is... I'm not sure how I feel about the Corruptors. They're going to do a lot better against these Colossus, but what are they going to do after that, aside from caustic sprays and buildings?
Yeah.
Which I'm not even sure he's going to have the opportunity to.
And honestly, that Disruptor shot was pretty good. All the Lings went down as well. Only a couple of Corruptors and Ravagers left, and it looks like... Oh, actually, more Corruptors are joining the fray. It looks like all the Colossus is going to be focused down, but he blinks forward on top of the Ravagers.
And I think Zoun has correctly identified what kind of army DRG has at the moment. It is a very corruptor-heavy army. Not a lot of ground. GG is called, and Zoun takes game number 1 in just about the perfect... I almost want to call it an anti-timing, but I don't know. I feel like he just found just the right moment where DRG would be at his weakest in relation to himself.
Exactly, just looking on the workers. Like Zoun, he cut his worker production quite some time in. DRG though, he kept joining up, he kept focusing on his economy, and as you said, he invested a little bit too much into those corruptors, because after those Colossus went down, what else were they going to do?
Caustic spray.
Nothing whatsoever.
Nothing.
Oh my god. And yeah, Zoun takes game number 1.
Game number 1, and yeah, we're going to Golden Wall now, which, you know, we've seen DRG lose on Golden Wall to a Protoss player in the past, and now it's, you know, a Protoss player who is arguably a step up.
Definitely, I would say so, at least.
How is this going to play off as we move on to the Golden Wall? LE holding up the Pillars of Gold. LE, where the LE submarines are kept, protecting the Turtle Empire. LE. In the left side of the map, spawning all the way in the left side corner of the map, we have the red Protoss player come down from the land of South Korea. He's going to be representing Alpha X. He is arguably the underdog in this matchup, but man, if he can make it, then he's going to make it to the finals for the first time. We have Zoun. Or as Korean Kerrigan calls him, John.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Wall LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the yellow Zerg player, currently representing Africa Freaks. It is DongRaeGu. DRG.
The one true Dong.
Exactly. He's so old school, and honestly, like, for both of these players, like, they've never made it to the finals before of this tournament series.
Yeah, which is kind of a surprise. But, well, it's a surprise now, but if you think about it, it does make a bit more sense. DongRaeGu, I think, only recently has cemented himself as a top player. Whereas in the past, you know, he was just grinding in these ESL Open Cups to, you know, whomever he faced, just for the practice.
Yeah, exactly. As you were saying, like, DRG, he only recently, like, came into prominence as, like, a top-tier Zerg player. Before this, he was still, like, working his way up, still in that middle ground. But, yeah. And
just to clarify, we mean a top-tier Zerg player in Legacy of the Void. You say DRG is old school. I think that's a bit of an understatement. DRG, he was in that original 2010 gang.
Yep. Oh my god. I think they even still roll, like...
Amazing.
Yeah, if I recall, like, during the 10-year anniversary for GSL, I believe, like, they ran the reel, and DRG, he was there, you know, back in the day, back when he still had his glasses. I believe since then he got LASIK. If I recall, I remember when that happened, and it was just like stats where I was like, he does not look right without his glasses. Like, like, I just, yeah. Like, for me, stats is also the... Yeah. For me,
stats of his glasses. I'm sorry.
He does, yeah, and he kept doing that even without his glasses.
Yeah. But imagine that in place of his glasses, now I can't imagine Stats as anything but a Splice hoodie. You know, he's no longer in Splice.
Yeah. It's been so long and so much has happened to these players, and that's why it's so cool to see DRG still here. Like, he has that history, that legacy behind him for a while. Like, he was on MVP, you know, of course he had glasses, and he also had his run in the foreigner scene as well. Yo, glasses for me are a big deal. I'm just saying.
That's part of his legacy. He had glasses.
Exactly. Yo, for me, stats is always gonna be stats is always gonna be the Waldo Terran. Okay, sorry, Waldo Protoss. Like, I will never look at him without glasses and be like, that looks correct. Like, no.
That's part of his legacy, you know.
Maybe one day he'll like, you know, fit in with it, but we'll see. We'll see.
That we shall.
Oh my god. As we are getting underway with this ZvP, we do see that Zoun, he was able to deal with that Overlord. He's just ramping up into things. No Twilight Council going for this Robo opener, and that's a lot of gateways. That's a lot of gates.
Gateways. This is going to be totaling up until 7 gates with just the second base and no, as you said, no Twilight Council. So I'm just wondering what Zoun has in store. Is this going to be like a patience game where he purposely defers? No, actually, I think he's pulling an Estrella. That is a sentry in that Warp Prism.
Exactly. And what just happened is that Zoun, he just picked off both Overlords that were across the map for DRG. DRG has zero scouting information whatsoever. Meanwhile, he's going for this massive Ling. I guess he's trying to see what there is to see. Again, he did mine out the minerals here, and he was checking to see if he expanded to the south, actually. Zoun did, but no, he's staying on 2 bases. He's got nothing but gateways. He's going across the map to potentially end the game.
Yeah, potentially, I think being the key word here, as you know, he's not doing the potentially game-ending thing of just dropping in the main and trying to force you on the ramp. Instead, this is looking like more of a traditional push.
Yeah, and he stopped droning up a long time ago. He stopped at 33 workers. He has not made a single worker since then. He's making nothing but units right now. And is there enough here for DRG? Oh god,
it doesn't look too likely right now. Like, you know, DRG, he's been building up for an anti-glaive. He's been building an anti-glaive army. Little do you know that glaives are not going to come into play. Instead, it is going to be these zealots, which are do really well against these roaches. You know, he does have to be careful not to get surrounded by the lings, but honestly, he's doing such a good job here.
Oh yeah, nice.
He's able to dodge these biles.
Exactly, nice dodge on the biles, and it looks like he's pushing his way through. The queens are going to be going down, and he pulls the boys. He has to.
This is so rough. He does have to pull the boys, and the biles do not land on the sentry. Zoun, his micro, you know, it hasn't been anything fancy, but it has been effective. That was a start, though. Biling down the warp prism just as it was warping in the key units.
Yeah.
That is definitely a start that DRG needed to turn this game around, and turn it around he has.
You say the start, he completely shut down the push once that Warp Prism got biled, and honestly, Zoun, he dodged the first couple of biles really well with the Warp Prism, but that second round was able to completely shut it down, and now Zoun, he's in an awful position. Like, look at the worker count, he's trying to catch up, he's stuck on 2 bases, and he's trying to expand here to the south, but DRG, he's ready for it, he's waiting for Zoun to mine out that mineral.
He doesn't even want to mine out himself. He's waiting for Zoun to realize what a mistake he's made when he mines out these mineral patches. But I think they have caught a glimpse of those circlings. So,
I mean, hopefully.
He's just sort of petting himself in here. It's a damn do you do, damn do you don't situation right now for Zoun. Either he has no third base, or he expands into links.
Exactly. That's the issue, and he's gonna do it. He's mining it out. He doesn't know that the links are there.
This mineral patch, 15 minerals remaining. There's 3 more rounds of mining from the probe.
Oh, there are, and it looks like, actually, I love this, bringing the Warp Prism over to deal with the Lings to make sure that he's able to secure himself a third base. Meanwhile, Zoun, he does have a couple of adepts over to the north, looking to try and sneak into the third base whenever he can, but yeah, at the moment, DRG is looking so good. Actually, Zoun, he's just going across the map with this.
Yeah, he realizes what his situation is looking like economically, so he's just trying to equalize as much as he can. These circles are just so threatening. Once Zoun mines that out, I don't see any force field slide.
Yeah.
I don't see any force field slide. I see a lot of lings waiting to jump through a choke point there.
Yeah, we'll see if he sees it. He sees the opening. He goes in.
He does go in, and it's hard to be optimistic right now, I gotta be honest with you, like.
Yeah, there's not much here. He's even going to get on top of the Disruptor, and there's no Warp Prism to dodge.
Just ignores the Disruptor.
Oh my god. Meanwhile, at the same time, though.
Yeah, this is a decent drone damage being done by these 4 adepts, you know, Zoun really making the most
of
the bad
everything's going down.
Everything's going down, yeah.
Oh my god, the Lings, there's just nothing at all to stop them. The Lings have killed 30 probes already. And sure, Zoun, he does have adepts across the map, and he was able to kill 10 workers. Like, honestly, that's really good damage if he didn't also lose everything to the massive Ling run by.
That's a big if.
Yeah, well, I mean, it isn't an if, it's a straight up no.
Yeah.
Like it just didn't happen. Oh god.
This is 3 times the workers there. Eesh.
Exactly, and now he's trying to warp in what he can, but the Roach Ravager is already here for DRG, and because those minerals were mined out, like DRG, he can just keep pushing. He can just push across the map. Oh.
Yeah, best case scenario right now for okay. Best case scenario right now for Zoun would have been that plus some way to keep DRG's army back while he buys himself some time.
And honestly, that was huge.
Four factors there.
Yeah, and there's not enough Ravagers here to pile down the Warp Prism, so he's able to warp in more units. Again, the Disruptor is protected by the Warp Ins, and Zoun pushes DRG back.
Indeed, he does. Very well done. DRG, you know, he does have a higher armies count, but don't be fooled. A lot of that army is in production right now. Really, really nice Purification Novas. Zoun, once again, just making the most out of what little he's got.
Exactly, like he's all in right now. He has so few workers. He has to try and deal some, I don't know, game ending or like equalizing damage. And I mean, he does have the great equalizers. He's gonna try and trade as best he can, but there's so many Ravagers.
All depending on the micro there. Already losing one Destructor, and he knows the writing is on the wall. GG is called. DRG gonna be tying up that series sideways 1-1. Potentially 4 more. No, 4 more? Wait, 1, 2. Potentially 3 more games.
Yeah.
Minimum 2.
Exactly. As a reminder, this is a best of 5, so we are not on match point. We are just tied up 1-1. We still got plenty of games to go. And oh boy, these two, they've just been going back and forth. And we have our lobby for game number 3.
That we do. And it's gonna be on Everdream.
Oh, okay. A bit of a more standard map, especially compared to Golden Wall. Yeah.
But still a fairly short rush distance.
For sure. Ooh. Alright, here we go. We are loading in, and Zoun, he's been able to do a couple of interesting things here this series. We'll see if he has something else planned here in game number 3.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's the mystery that we're gonna be trying to solve. And speaking of mysteries, we are now on Everdream, L-E-E-D-L-E, Edle. We're in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We have the red Protoss player coming down from the land of South Korea. He is one of them deputies on the patrol. Gonna be representing Alpha X here. We have Zoun.
And spawning in at the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the yellow Zerg player, currently representing Afrika Freaks. It is DongRaeGu. The RG.
Now that I think about it, Max Angel County could really use a sheriff. Just one episode of Texan walks in.
I don't know why, but you saying that just reminded me of the intro you had today, like the location and stuff, and that was great. By the way, that was like your best intro by far. It was beautiful.
I don't think my Spanish was really as fluent as Kuro's, but I think I had a bit of emotion in there, which was not acting.
That's what made it great.
I didn't quite get the structure of Spanish, but I got the emotion.
It was beautiful. I can't wait. I can't wait for it to be incorporated in something.
Vortex Lab, get on it.
Get on it, Vortex. Get on it. Fun fact, I actually haven't looked at it, but I have an updated version of the duct tape that he's been working on.
Ooh, is that draft 3? Because you didn't send me draft 2.
Yeah, it is draft 3. Draft 3, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually finished it today, this morning. I haven't had a chance to look at it because he sent it to me as I was asleep.
Yeah. And then when you woke up, you had to cast.
Yeah, exactly. So something to look forward to. I don't think so we won't be debuting it, but for those wondering, we are referring to a Spanish edition of our duct tape, which is a highlight reel that we have. Yeah, quote unquote Spanish. It's featuring you know, some of the best Spanish we have on this channel.
And I feel honored.
It's been great. It's been beautiful. But speaking a little bit about this game, we do have Zoun going for the Twilight Council.
Yeah, go for something a little more standard this time, something a little more familiar for, I think, most players. We'll see if Zoun, puts his own twist on it.
Yeah, and I mean, he is trying to, deny this Overlord, and it looks like we may see another tech structure being thrown down. We'll see as, oh, no, never mind. We have Leg Laves.
Yeah. Leg Lave de... Yeah.
Exactly that, yes. And we'll see if DRG is on point with his scouting. He does have an Overlord sneaking in to the main base, or will be sneaking in, so potentially that will be able to spot it. Again, there is only one Stalker here, and it's kind of busy in the wall trying to deal with this Overlord in the natural, so DRG should be able to sneak in and get that scout eventually.
Yeah, once he does, we've seen DRG defend against this Glaive build, even when he didn't intend to.
Yeah.
And when he's actually, knows what he's up against, I have a feeling it's going to be a bit more potent.
Yeah, definitely.
He's turning around.
Oh, that was actually interesting. He actually saw the pylon, saw the gas as well, saw the gas count, and I don't know if that was enough, but it may have been enough to tip him off on what was happening.
I think it was.
Yeah, and if that was, that's insane. Oh, he also supposed to War Prism as well with his links.
Well, yeah, but,
We'd like to think that he just saw through the Matrix. He saw the gas count. He's like, I know what you're doing.
That's why he put his glasses back on. He was able to see how it all lined up there. The gas count in 2D.
That's his final form.
Is it his final form? Because he got LASIK. I feel like DongRaeGu without glasses is more part of his final form.
We'll see as the Adepts are here. They're chipping away at the Queen so far.
Really, yeah, some really good target firing. Decent transfuses, but not quite enough. DongRaeGu trying to target down these weaker Adepts, just trying to take them out one by one, as, the Roaches still going to be a while before they pop out. Spy Crawl is definitely going to help matters, but
yeah.
This is a precarious situation right now.
And it's actually so important that he's focusing down that Spore, as he is throwing down a Dark Shrine behind this. So he was ulting to go for some tech, and there it is. The Spore goes down immediately. DRG recognizes this, and he's setting up another Spore at his third.
Yeah, he knew that Zoun was being a little too focused on that one Spore Crawler. Once again, Zoun, some really nice target firing going down here.
Oh yeah.
Not quite one-shotting these Roaches, but he's still doing a pretty good job. And since DRG, he's been forced to keep his Roaches on such low numbers for all this time, he hasn't really gotten to that critical mass of Roaches that you want.
Exactly. Like, what he's doing is he's shaving off Roach after Roach, keeping that Roach count quite low. So that's why it's so important for Zoun to do so. And here we go. We have the War Prism going into the main. The DTs are coming in. There's no Spore.
Zoun is so smart, Zoun is so smart. He knew that the Spore from the main was going to go down into that third base.
Yeah. And now he shades into the third as well, and now more drones are going down. Oh, that Spore being focused down as well. It looks like it will go down.
Oh, another Spore. Yeah, the other Spore from the third base does some more right there. But now what's here detecting the third base? DongRaeGu can't send the Spores back and forth, now can he?
He can't, but he has enough links to clean up all the Adepts. Meanwhile, the DCs are back here, and he's able to get on top of that Spore, focus it down, and that was the detection. The hatchery, it's so dangerously low.
It is so insanely low right now. And the Spore trying to burrow, but I don't think it's going to be enough. One more snipe! Or swipe! And the hatchery goes down. These Brootlings, none the wiser. They just got interrupted by a nap, and they thought, why have you awakened me, father?
And immediately as that happens, Archons are being warped in, but at the same time, DRG is going for that massive link counterattack, and
that's a lot of yellow on the minimap, yeah.
That's a lot of yellow. There is a wall, but the third base is a little bit exposed. He's going to get on top of the army, and there is no Nexus, so no overcharges available.
Yeah, no overcharge. There's only one shield battery at the moment, but I'll give it to Zoun. He's really buying himself time. Force field does deny a bit of surface area there. I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't sent the probes to fight, but I guess he realized he didn't quite need it.
Yeah.
As he's defended, he secured that third base.
Exactly.
really back in this game. Very nicely done.
Oh yeah, he's killed so many workers. He sniped the main base as well. If that was a lair, that would have been devastating. But the lair was made in the natural, so it is nice and safe. And yeah, Zoun as well, solid defense here. He only lost a shield battery, lost a couple of gateway units, but nothing too major. And Zoun, he's just looking so good here in game number 3.
Indeed, he is just really picking DongRaeGu apart right now, giving him no room to breathe, making sure that he just cannot focus in one front.
Yeah, exactly. And behind this, we do see Blink on the way with +1, so he's going to be transitioning into Blink Soldiers, which is what you want against a Roach Ravager-based army. Meanwhile, 6 more drones are going down to this Adept Harass.
This Adept's is still getting damage light.
Yeah.
How insane is that? These Archons still alive, you know, that one queen. Not gonna be enough there, and DongRaeGu a little bit of hubris there, trying to take out the queen on the files.
Yeah, he only needed
just baiting DRG.
That was so close. If there was one more Ravager with that army, and DRG recognizes that's why he's making more, like that War Prism would have gone down with those Archons. But now Zoun, he's kept it alive. He has weathered the storm, and now he's pushing out across the map with his main army.
Yeah, welcome to PvZ. Live long enough to kill your opponent.
Exactly, and with this War Prism as well, like he will be able to reinforce the army. He has to be careful for it not to be sniped. Like it only requires 2 more biles to go down, so he has to be so careful with that.
That indeed he does. He also has to be careful not to get surrounded here. As you know, Blinks are good, but they do have a bit of cooldown on them.
Yeah,
and it just about looks like Zoun is winning this.
Exactly, like the force fields were good enough, like the biles that were landing, but at the same time Zoun was dodging them quite nicely, dodges every single bile with his army, doesn't even need to use Blink or War Prism Micro. And yeah, DRG, he's on the back foot right now, like he's struggling so much. He has some static defense, he has a couple of Ravagers, but again, as soon as all those things go down, like there's gonna be a Blink on top, right on top of those Ravagers.
There probably will be.
Oh, and again,
you may just decide, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm gonna end the game.
Yeah, I mean, Zoun, he could honestly, he could just blink into the main base, like with the help of that War Prism as well, like if he outmaneuvers his opponent. But so far, DRG has done a good job at keeping that high ground advantage, staying on top of the ramp here outside the 3rd base, as well as outside the natural, and he pushes Zoun back. Meanwhile, though, at the same time, oh, nice around. Oh, forces a recall even.
Oh, yeah, really well done by DRG, but he's still got a couple of problems right here as more and more drones are just falling by the second here, Light.
Oh god.
DRG is gonna be forced to go all in pretty soon.
He's going for it. He's all in. He just wants to end the game.
Yeah, he does. I'm not convinced that he's gonna be able to.
Oh, he blinks. The aggressive blink. He blinks on forward on top of everything. All the Ravagers go down.
It's all, and Zoun now on match point against DongRaeGu.
Wow, that entire game, Zoun, that was honestly impressive PvZ. Like everything was just working for him.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like maybe it wasn't so much of a, you know, this move ties into this opportunity, which means I'll do this, and that creates a different opportunity. I think there was a level of that there, but I feel like it was more of a case of Zoun thinking, what can I do with what I have, and correctly making those decisions.
Yeah, it was so smart. Like, again, DRG, like, he knew what he was up against. He 100% knew. That's why he had made the Ravagers, the Roaches, the Lings, the Spores as well for the DTs. But again, like, Zoun, he was just on top of it. Like, he saw, like, the maneuverability of those Spores. He knew where DRG was weak. And when he finally got that hatchery, like, he got some momentum, and he just kept going with it. Like, he never stopped.
He's much like a sound wave.
Yeah.
Once it gets momentum, just never stops. I may be wrong in that front, but you know what? What if I wasn't? As we now load on into Pillars of Gold. LE holding up the golden wall. LE. I forgot the rest of it. I forgot the rest of it. In the top right-hand corner of the map, sweating all the way to the top right-hand corner of the map, we have the red Protoss player coming out from the land of South Korea. He is now a match point, looking to make it to the finals of ESL Open Cup Asia for The second time, I don't
First time.
quite recall there. First time, gonna be representing Alpha X. We have Zoun.
And spawning in at the bottom left-hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have the South Korean Zerg player himself. We have Blessing the Rain down.
Oh, Down Under.
Down under in the Africa Freaks, we have the one true. It is DongRaeGu. DRG. Oh boy, and Pillars of Gold, you know, this is going to be a rough map for DRG again, especially when it comes to the center of the map. Like, it can be so easy to get really good surrounds on the army. Like, it's a struggle with the Protoss army to get good enough force fields to cut the army in half. So it can be difficult to push out. At the same time though, yeah, like there is plenty of room for Stargate play, for War Prisms, for Oracles. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of an interesting map. If I had to pick any, map for DongRaeGu to start turning this series around, it would definitely be Pillars of Gold. But yeah, as you said, I think it's a little harder on Zoun just because it's a bit of a more Zerg favorite map. But you do bring up a pretty good point. There's also a lot of opportunity for Zoun to, just be a little cheeky with his harass.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, especially the main base, like going in with Stalkers, going for that cheeky play, like throwing down the force field on the ramp. Like, it's all quite possible. And even Glaive Adept play like can work out here. But as I say, Glaive Adepts, we don't have a Twilight Council. Got a Stargate.
Tempest!
Oh, and I'm really curious to see, again, because the patch hasn't been live for too long, at least in Latin America, we've seen a lot of Void Ray openings, same with Taiwan. I'm curious if we see any of that here with the Koreans.
Well, to be fair, in Taiwan, you saw Void Ray openings before the patch went live.
This is true.
In anticipation for the patch.
This is very true. So we'll see if Zoun is that kind of player. Are we going to see Void Rays come into play, as he does go for an Oracle first?
Alright, bit of an interesting choice here. And by interesting, I mean about the standard choice, which is why it's interesting.
Yeah. Not opting to go for that Void Ray. Again, we'll have to wait and see how many Oracles are going to be made. 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, is he going to be getting his Shield membership card? Or not quite yet. Come on, show me the Void Ray! There we go! And honestly, in PvZ, Void Rays...
Oh yeah.
They're not just a good choice, they're also a surprisingly sensible choice, just because of the possibility of a roach rush.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, there's nothing here. There's a spore.
Spores. There's those spores and the queen. It went to spread creep.
The queen. Like. Yeah, it did. It did go to spread creep. Oh my god, this is devastating. There's still no spores here. Oh my god.
This 8 drones. That is not what you want to lose later on in the game. You do not want to lose that many drones in the mid game. We're still in the early game, and you're going to have to wait. This is devastating. But,
oh my god.
Yeah. DRG, he ain't dead yet. He does still, to his credit, have 3 hatcheries, and with 3 hatcheries, he's got a lot of larvae.
He does. He does. Oh my god, and here we go. The Void Ray is coming into play here. The Overlord gets taken out, and quickly looking at the vision, it looks like DRG, he did attempt to go for an Overlord scout earlier, but it was denied, so he had no idea about that Stargate opener. He had no idea that he needed spores that early on, and this Oracle, it wants some more. There's still no spore. Oh my god.
That's fine. There's a spore. There's a spore. It's hidden by the queen.
Oh, okay.
Pretty well done.
Okay, it's right behind you.
Camouflage. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And I mean, as we see, we actually have more Void Rays coming out. What?
Hell yeah. Zoun, he's aware.
Exactly. He's aware. He knows what patch we're on.
I really like this choice, but I'm worried that because I like it, it may not be sensible.
What's
from
the choice from Zoun?
He's going for Adept Void Rays, which, I mean, to be fair, not a bad... When you consider the fact that DRG has been going for Ling Roach for his early game army compositions, in theory, you think that this is the army that counters that, right?
Yeah, honestly, it definitely can. It's really interesting how things are playing out. So we have no robo whatsoever for Zoun, so he requires this proxy gateway to reinforce. And instead of Immortals to deal with the Roaches, he's going to be incorporating the Void Rays instead. So we're going to see Void Rays for the Roaches, Adepts for the Lings and Queens. And this composition, this new composition, due to the patch, could actually work.
Why?
You're like, ¿por qué? Oh god. I mean, there are only 3. Oh, we have a massive Ling run by though. This could force a recall.
Oh. But it hasn't yet. DRG actually being a little indecisive right now.
He's going in. He's going in.
Yeah, Zoun is going in. That's a lot of Adepts, and the Lings are across the map. They're starting to turn around right now. DongRaeGu actually very indecisive this game, which I guess you can't really blame him. He's on match point right now. He is probably didn't anticipate to be down 1-2 against Zoun of all people. But
and honestly, I'm just surprised that he didn't commit to the Shade. So he stays here fighting with the Void Ray. He's going to be taking out all of these Roaches. And again, he doesn't need to keep committing to the Shade if he wants to. Oh, he does though. He does commit to the Shade. He gets surrounded by the Lings.
Oh, and I think that might have actually been a mistake here by Zoun. I think he was probably looking to stay at that third base and looking to take it out, but actually, no. He's just drawing attention away, I guess.
Yeah, he's just continuing to warp in more and more, and as that is happening, the Void Rays the Void Rays are taking out the hatchery.
Yeah, we'll take a while to kill that hatchery, but, you know, while that's happening, these Adepts are just causing sheer utter chaos right now. As Zoun, he's focusing on taking out the Queens. He knows that DongRaeGu doesn't really have a lot of anti-air aside from the Queens. You know, he's got Spores, but they are static defense.
Yeah, and there we go. Another Queen goes down. The Roach goes down as well. The Shades, the Adepts get more workers, and
Zoun is a goddamn genius. I'm just gonna say right now, Zoun, I'm very impressed. And there we have it. DongRaeGu will not be making it to the finals once again of ESL Open Cup Asia division. It is instead gonna be, for the very first time, Zoun.
Wow, Zoun takes out the one true Dong himself, 3-1, and he goes to the finals for a PvP finals that we were talking about. It will be Zoun versus Patience.
This really is the Y-axis. Oh no, actually, now that I think about it, Patience, he's the Y-axis. You know what Zoun is?
Is he the Z-axis?
He's the Alpha X-axis.
Oh.
As well,
they both work. He's 2 axes at once.
He is. Oh. He's on the X-axis. And you know what he uses? Wolfram Alpha X axis. I think I piled on too much into that.